Voters Lunch and Learn, and we're so excited that you all were able to make it. And we're especially excited today to have Sergeant Jeffrey Swanson from Wichita, Kansas. I heard him in the springtime and I said, we have got to have him come. And so here he is. So this is wonderful. Let me just read a little introduction about Sergeant Swanson. He joined the Wichita Police Department in 1986. He worked in patrol for 9 years and then was promoted and assigned to the Exploited and Missing Child 9 years and Missing Child Unit as a detective. While assigned to the EMCU, he was the lead investigator in over 1,500 cases of child victimization. He conducted over 2,500 interviews of children, testified and provided consultation for hundreds of cases related to criminal investigations. He has presented training throughout the state of Kansas on child sexual abuse investigations, child death investigation, infant abduction, interviewing techniques, and hostage negotiation. In April of 2014, he was assigned as the new commander of the Kansas Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force, ICAC, responsible for conducting technology-facilitated criminal investigations involving the victimization of children throughout the state of Kansas. Previous positions include patrol officer, field training officer, hostage negotiator, detective, Special Deputy, United States Marshal for the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, and Patrol Supervisor. Welcome, Jeffrey. Okay.
Sure, I'm very excited to come up and talk to you guys. What I want to say in the preface is that I have a very difficult time being politically correct when I talk about this topic. What we are talking about here, and I want to let you know up front, is very bad stuff. There's nothing glamorous, there's nothing pretty, there's nothing glorifying about any of the topics that I'm going to discuss. When I talk about this stuff, I talk about it as a father of 4 children who vary in ages from 10 to 24, and I know the 10-year-old, it seemed like a good idea at the time. My wife and I have been married for 25 years. I think in today's society that's a pretty good accomplishment. We've raised 4 children in the same home, same mother and father, and each child is uniquely different to themselves, as all of you know. I could not imagine the feelings that I would have as a parent if my child were to get involved in this type of activity. Sometimes I get a little, my filter goes on delay, so I apologize that up front. But this isn't going to be a very pleasant conversation that we're going to have here in just a moment, okay? Now, when I became a police officer in 1986, people asked me, when I interviewed, why do you want to become a cop? And the standard answer to get the job is, because I want to change the world, I want to make things better, I want to be part of my community, all of which are true. But the real reason, as a 22-year-old kid, was that I wanted to drive a car with red lights and sirens, I wanted to drive fast, I wanted to put bad guys in jail. It is the ultimate game of tag. And when I graduated from the academy, I went to work in an area in Wichita called South Broadway, which is known for prostitution, it's known for gang violence, it's known for narcotics, it's known for a lot of different things. So I had a pretty good foothold on narcotics trafficking, violent crimes. I worked everything down there from urinating in public to first-degree murder, and everything in between. And what I want to say is, when we investigate these types of crimes, when I was a patrolman on the street and I would get sent to a case involving the victimization of a child, the first thing I looked for is something else to do besides make that call. Now, if it was a burglary or a robbery or a homicide or something, that was back in Miami Vice days, that was all cool. That's headline stuff. That's what cops want to do. But what I figured out shortly after being promoted and sent to start working these types of crimes, is when we're talking about the victimization of children, we're talking about a pure victim. We as parents control when a child gets up, when they go to sleep, what they wear, what they eat, where they go to school, who their friends are. who they have contact with, or at least that's what we should be doing. So if a person who's 22 years old goes out to a bar on a Friday night and gets involved in a confrontation, gets in a fight, and is murdered, that person is no less a victim, and please don't get me wrong. But that adult made a decision to go out to a bar, to get into confrontation, to drink, to do whatever they did. Yet that victim, when that case happens, all the resources in the world come to that victim. Can we do anything for that victim? And the answer is no. The victim, and this is my personal belief, has gone to the Lord. There's nothing we can do for them. We're doing it for the family. We're doing it for society that's left behind. These cases are different. These cases, we can do something for that child. We can make sure that the person who did this to our child is never ever going to do that again to another child. We can make sure that the child who was victimized has the support mechanism socially to get past what happened to them, to become young, productive adults, to become involved in their community, to become involved and sometimes find out who their family is, or have a family that gets engaged with them. But we can do something for that child. That's why these cases are so important. These people that victimize these children are jeopardizing our future. And it doesn't get any more real than that. These are our kids. So, what we're going to start out with today is we're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about access to those types of platforms. We are going to talk about how these platforms are used to manipulate our children, to extort our children, to blackmail our children, to coerce our children, to teach our children that some behaviors are okay because everybody's doing it. And then we're also going to talk about how these platforms are used to recruit our children, to take them out of our homes, to exploit our children and put them out and move them into a market where they become nothing more than, Salina's an agricultural community. You know about agriculture there, right? These kids are cattle. They're a commodity. They're not even people anymore. And that's what it is. It's that cold. They lose one kid, they recruit another one. Just like you sell a calf. Next spring you can have another one. Means nothing more. Unless that calf becomes a family pet, you take it to 4-H and win blue ribbons and stuff. That's kind of different. But they're a commodity. So, let's talk about it. When I was younger and going into puberty and the whole boyfriend-girlfriend thing was developing, and some of you can relate to this, there was passing notes in school, there was meeting on the playground and talking, exchanging notes, communication between everybody, fairly innocent stuff, right? Kids would still sneak out of the house, and they would go meet their boyfriend, and they would do things, or they would meet their girlfriend, and they would do things. I remember sneaking out of my house when I was 15 years old and taking my parents' car, pushing it down the alley. We do stupid things. Generally speaking, it was within the confines of our own town, right? But we do that because hormones are raging. But back then, we were in contact with people in our immediate vicinity. The boy at school, the boy on the soccer team, the girl on, we didn't have soccer, but when I was going to school, the football team, basketball team, cheerleading squad, whatever it was, we knew who those people were. Generally speaking, we knew who their parents were. We had met them. We know who they are. What the social media has done is it has created a forum for these young kids who are trying to explore their sexuality, whatever that may be, to reach outside their communities. And they're having virtual sex on these phones. Yet we as parents don't think anything of giving it to a 10 or 12-year-old child. Well, they need a smartphone. Why? What do they need that for? Because what you've done by giving them that phone is giving them access to everybody in the world with that same technology. So while you're sitting here in Salina, Kansas, or in Wichita, or in Hugoton, or in Oxford, or any place else across the state, some guy sitting in a cave in Tajikistan, and I'm not saying this facetiously, just having contact with your child and talking to them over the internet. When I get a lead on a case from New Zealand about an image of a young girl that's hosted on a Russian website that I identify as a child from Hayesville, Kansas, that's a problem. Yet, kids are thinking, well, this is the way I can have virtual sex, right? What does sex mean in today's environment? Does it mean anything to have to do with love and commitment? No. It's fiction, it's fake. You talk to your kids and they know all these people. I've got 2,500 people following me on Facebook. How many of you know? How many of you actually met? And we as parents, do we know who our kids are talking to? The way kids are kind of thinking about it is the only thing in physical sex that we issue is pregnant diseases. I can have a virtual relationship with some guy in the UK, and we can send pictures back and forth, and nobody will ever know. We have Instagram now, where I can take a picture of myself, send it to him. As soon as he opens it, it stays there for 5 seconds, and then it goes away forevermore. Well, no, you screenshot it, and then he has it forevermore. Kids go in and they delete their phones. Delete all the contacts in their phones. Delete all the pictures in their phones, thinking it's all gone. My guys get it, we go into the phone, we undelete everything, and we bring it all back. Anything you send out, you lose control over. And kids don't understand that. How's it going to have an effect on your life? So, what we do know, has anybody ever answered the phone from a robocaller trying to sell you something? And you tell them, you know, that's kind of interesting, but, you know, I really don't have time for it right now. Could you please call me back the 3rd Tuesday of next week? Right? We lose that face-to-face contact. There's a difference. Emma and I just met for the first time today. However, we've been communicating online, right?
Yes.
We've never met. I could have told her that I was anybody I wanted to be. The only way that she knew who I was is because I told her who I was. The same thing applies to these children. They may be thinking they're talking to Susie, who is a 15-year-old cheerleader from upstate New York, when they're actually talking to Bob, who's a 45-year-old sex offender in Phoenix, Arizona. And they don't know the difference. They may be thinking they're having virtual sex and sending pictures back and forth between each other, and he's got this really cute girl, when he's actually sending pictures of a sex offender who's uploading them onto a server and selling them to a foreign website. And then all of a sudden his pictures are out there for the world to see, and he has no idea. Or he breaks up and the guy says, hey, you know what? I've got all these pictures and we're also Facebook friends. You keep doing this for me, or you do these acts for me, or I'm going to send them to all your friends at school. I'm going to send them to your parents. I'm going to send them to your grandparents. I'm going to send them to your aunts and uncles. And all of a sudden, this 14-year-old boy has no idea what in the world he's going to do. It's easier to say things face to face. We lose physical cues. My 10-year-old is a great kid, but he's creative. When he does something and I ask him, have you done something, he doesn't have to give me an answer. I know before he says whether or not he did something. When you're talking to somebody online, you lose all that. We communicate in 3 ways. We communicate verbally, we communicate physically, and we communicate emotionally. And when you talk to somebody online, all you have is the written word. Has anybody ever gotten upset because they received a text message and they thought it was rude? How do you know? How do you know? Is there a difference between yes, yes, and yes? Or yes? How do you get that out of a text message? We do anything we want online. We also lose our inhibitions, our insecurities, and our self-consciousness. We're anonymous online. I'm talking to somebody in Israel. They're never going to meet me. They don't know who I am. I can tell them anything I want to be. I can tell them anything that I want. My oldest daughter is a junior here at Kansas Wesley. And when she was younger, Facebook had just come out. It was a big deal for kids. And she wanted a Facebook account. And I told her, you can have a Facebook account, as long as the only people on your Facebook account are people that you've actually met and you know. Family, friends, and people you've actually met. And nobody else. Oh, Dad, I will. Thank you very much. So she got her Facebook account. So I created a bogus Facebook account. And I sent her a friend request, which she immediately accepted. And for the next series of weeks, I was finding out about all the parties that were going on, what everybody was doing, because it's in that secret place called Facebook. And the look on her face when I broke the news to her was priceless. And she had no idea who she was talking to. But that's a point that I wanted to drive home to her about how to be safe online. You do not know who you're talking to online unless you've actually met that person. There's no guarantee. None. You get emails all the time, hey, I'm a guy that's stuck and, I just inherited $250 million. I need somebody to help me out. I need you, I'm gonna send you a check, and if you could cash that, go ahead and keep $150 million. Just send me $1 million back. And people fall for it? If somebody met you on the street, would you do that?
No.
Give me $1 million. But people are gonna do that. They're gonna send their bank account numbers. They're gonna send, their credit card numbers. They're gonna send all the information in the world, and we are adults. So how easy is it to manipulate a child? Piece of cake. So, what are kids getting their perceptions? Everybody online is an expert. If you go in and you're reading the news, there's a comment section, right? Where you can comment through Facebook or something like that. Everybody has an opinion and everybody's an expert on every article that was ever written. Whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or wherever it is, everybody's an expert. So kids think that what they're reading online is real. And these people obviously have an idea of what's going on because, well, they posted it online. And I've looked at their Facebook page and it's really cool because they like these groups of music and they like these sports teams. So these guys must really know what's going on. So I'm going to friend them too because they're great people. Well, they keep getting all this information. My wife is a makeup artist for MAC Cosmetics. And she has 13, 14-year-old girls who want to come in, get a full face of makeup because they want to look like Kim Kardashian. Why? You're 13 years old, child. You don't need that. But they want to come in and their parents are allowing them to get lashes and all this other kind of garbage. And I'm thinking, there's no way. There's no way. But they're getting it from online. And what it's causing is our kids are becoming very narcissistic, very self-centered. And it's causing a problem. They want to be accepted. Their idea of being accepted is how many followers they have, how many retweets do they get. Kids are committing suicide over stuff people post on Facebook about them. It's destroying their self-esteem. Because what's on Facebook? And I grew up in Nebraska, another agricultural community. And what I learned was, if you fail, you get up and try it again, and again, and again, and again. And hopefully you get it right sometime. Now a kid does something, they post something, I did a backflip on a trampoline while shooting a basketball. I got 150 million tweets, or Facebook likes. Now I'm famous. I always thought self-esteem came from working hard and doing something right. And not now. Self-esteem is instant gratification. If you think about it, there was a study done that 39% of American 8th graders were confident in their math, compared to 6% of the Koreans. Who's better in math? Hands down, Koreans. But they don't think that they're good at it. but they work so much harder at it. We are really good at thinking we're number one. Not really. We like participation trophies. I am all about encouraging young kids to become involved in sports and giving them participation trophies. I think everybody should get out and try and do a good job. But not everybody's the best. Kids need to know how to accept failure along with success. If a child succeeds every time and is reinforced that you succeeded every time you try something, how are they as adults ever going to be able to accept failure? And it's about building the self-esteem of the child, being proud of something that you've accomplished through hard work, as opposed to a tweet. 31% of American high school students expect to be famous. I never expected to be famous. My goal in life as a child was, I really thought my dad was cool. I wanted to be like him. He was a cop who had 8 kids. I was the second oldest. He told his sons, 6 of us, don't go into law enforcement. 2 of us are prosecutors, 3 of us are cops. Technology is the environment of instant gratification. If my niece does something in Omaha, Nebraska, I know about it in my house in Wichita, Kansas, within about 10 minutes because I hear my 14-year-old daughter scream in her room. What are you screaming about? Kaylee did X, Y, and Z. Kaylee got asked to homecoming. Kaylee's going, blah, 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 blah. I find out about it. Then there's the retweets. Then there's a conversation that goes back and forth between that about the retweets and blah, 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 blah. No. But it's instant. Sometimes that can be a good thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing. But keep in mind this instant gratification because it comes back the other way as well. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Social media has allowed us to make contact with people all over the globe as adults. When I was in Iraq in 2009, my little guy was 2 years old. And because of Skype, a social media platform, I was able to talk to my family, usually depending on service and a lot of other variables, in the morning and in the evening. I was actually watching my kids open presents on Christmas morning while I'm sitting in a bunker outside Tikrit. Okay? How cool is that? I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I could find out about what's going on at school, what my kids are doing, my oldest son getting in a fight and getting suspended from, all the good stuff. I wanted to make sure I was up to speed. Okay? It's fabulous. But to think that some other guy in maybe Australia is talking to your child in their bedroom while you're downstairs watching TV and they're on their laptop, but you have no idea what they're talking about. He has that same ability. Now the nice part about it was I was able to interact with my family, right? Virtually. But it was pretty neat. They'd be waiting for a letter for 3 weeks to get there. I was able to see them. When I came home on leave, my 2-year-old was confused because he thought I lived in this computer. He didn't really understand why I was here instead of there. But it made the world so much smaller for me. And it made my time there so much easier. Because I was able to see it. Watching my dogs jump off the deck in the snow and disappearing in the backyard. I got a ball up. And then I walked out the door in 85-degree sandstorm. Yeah. Now, psychologically, it kind of jacks you up. But it was fabulous because I could stay connected. But that same asset, same networking ability, bad guys used to get hold of your children. Increased exposure to harmful material. I would wager that anybody in this room who has a child who does not check their child's phone, should you do that, you're going to find bad stuff on the child's phone. When I go out and do search warrants, when I go out and collect phones or laptops, the unusual one is where we don't find bad stuff on them. And that's because the system's been wiped. And then we have to go in and carve and recover that type of stuff. It's on there. Yeah, we're given, 9, 10, how many people see second and third graders with smartphones? I know that when I was 14, 15 years old, I was a pretty smart kid. By the time I was 16, I knew the answer to every question the world ever came up with. By the time I was 25, I forgot all the answers, and I started thinking, my dad was a pretty smart guy. These kids are doing the same thing, but we have no control anymore over what media influences, what social networking influences are going to develop the ideas within our children. Okay? There's a lot of websites out there that will tell you that using LSD or smoking bath salts or smoke formaldehyde is okay because it gives you such a high. Okay? Formaldehyde. There's a reason they use that where they use it. But you're finding 14, 15-year-old kids out there smoking this bath salt and formaldehyde and PCP and all this other stuff because somebody told them online it was okay and it's safe. You just did with marijuana, and everybody knows marijuana's safe. Okay? One of my brothers started playing around with marijuana, and the last time I saw him, I told him I don't ever want to see you around like that. Because marijuana has now led to methamphetamines usage, and cocaine, and all these other hallucinogenics. And I wrote him off. Done. I don't want my kids thinking that that is okay. That is not okay. That is not good behavior. It's not acceptable. But somebody out there is going to tell you the kids that it's okay. Everybody's in my pocket. The entire world and all these people are right here with me no matter where I go. Now I remember my first cell phone was a big bag about that big and an antenna that stuck out the window. And my wife figured out that she could call me at work when I had that. And I cannot tell you how bothersome that became. But I remember my dad always telling me, take a nickel with you when you leave. Always have a nickel with you. And then became, a dime, and then it was a quarter, and then it was 35, and I don't know what it is now. If you can find a payphone, it's probably like $1. But we used to have to go find those. But now our contacts go with us. No matter where we are in this globe, somebody can get a hold of us immediately. Now, it has good points. I travel a lot. I'll be in Washington in 2 weeks. My wife can call me, we can talk. I stay in contact. It has bad points. Because for our kids, if somebody's making contact for our kids for nefarious reasons, they've got 24-hour access to our children. Kids will listen to their friends online more than they will listen to their parents. Because our friends online, we've seen all their posts, we know that they're experts. These people understand us, they get us. My parents don't understand what it's like for me as a child because, well, they were obviously never one. They never had to go through the things that I have to go through, like getting a ride to and from school, going to traveling sports teams and all those other burdens of life that my parents were putting me through. But their friends, they will meet somebody online, and they will friend them, and they will trust them with the darkest details of their existence within 48 hours. Like that. And if I've got bad intentions for your child, and I find out what's going on in the home, and that there's problems in the home, maybe there's a divorce going in the home, something else, maybe we're not spending time in the home, the parents aren't looking at what I'm doing, they're too busy arguing and fighting amongst each other, then I'm going to step up and I'm going to play that role. And I guarantee you, I can talk your children into the things that they should be. Vulnerable to impersonation. I can be anybody that I want. Triangulation is kind of an interesting thing. Say Susie meets Bobby online, and they're talking, and Bobby says, hey, I have this friend John. You and John would be great together. He likes your personality, da 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 da. All of a sudden, John gets a friend request to Susie, and Susie's talking to John. And John knows everything about her. They're so much alike. Well, truth be told, they're both the same guy. He's already found out everything about her, and now he's a different personality. But he's the same person. He's just got two different presences online. Yeah, she thinks, oh, this guy gets me. He knows everything about me. He's so smart. He's so great. He must be a wonderful guy. Well, she's already told the other guy everything. Now he has the answers. Got all the solutions worked out for her. They're in control. I have a tolerant level of trust in my children's internet usage. But I'm also getting into their phones. My daughter tried the whole, I'm not going to give you the password thing. That's fine. I'm not going to give you the phone thing. And I turned the phone off. Real easy. I took the phone off. I know what you're doing or you're not doing. I don't know about you, but I don't think I was probably 25 or 26 before I really did anything on a computer. And my little guy, when he was 3, was able to interface on a computer, go through Windows, log on, log off, access games, da 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 da. And I'm like, where did they get this? They didn't have it. These kids are so much smarter than parents are, it's not even funny. They go to the websites as well. They're showing how these other girls look so hot. Look how many views they have. Look how many times this has been forwarded. Look how cool they are. Look how many people like them. The instant gratification. Everybody's doing this. You know, it's socially acceptable. Your parents don't understand you. They're old people. They just don't understand. You know, us young people are like that. It's okay. It's cool. And everybody knows somebody's been sexted or texted. If you know any SROs, do you know anybody that works in this line of school system? Ask them how many cases they have where Johnny and Susie were dating, Susie sent Johnny pictures, and Johnny sent Susie pictures, they broke up, and now they're sending them out to their friends. It's here. That's pretty innocent stuff compared to what some of these bad guys are wanting to get a hold of your kids to do. So when our kids are contacted, they develop these relationships with these suspects, the myth is that the suspect comes to town and goes in the dark of the night, sneaks in the house and grabs the child and flees away. And that's not what happens. These kids are walking out of your house to meet with these people. They're walking out voluntarily because this is my boyfriend or this is my girlfriend. And we're going to run off to, Europe and live on a big shiny castle on a hill for the rest of our lives, watch unicorns dance and bunnies hop through the meadow eating clover and chasing rainbows. They're walking out the door and they're disappearing. Literally disappearing. Target age for these guys is 13 to 15 years old, middle school. That's why we have age of consent laws. So when they're making contact, they're going to isolate your victim. You're going to see a change in behavior. My wife wants me to call her. It's going to be very subtle. They're going to have friends, and pretty soon, oh my gosh, I've run over quite a bit. It's going to be subtle. They're going to start trying to develop a relationship with them. They're going to start not talking to some of their regular friends. They're going to spend more time in their room or away from other people. The guy or whoever they're talking to, and sometimes a woman, is going to appear very genuine. They're going to be consistent with the victim and what they're saying, and their contact with the victim is going to be consistent. Multiple times a day, every day. They're going to expect to have contact. You may see things show up at your house. It's amazing to me when an iPad shows up at somebody's house that the parents don't question where it came from. Or somebody sends my daughter a Barbie doll, where did this come from? And then when you look at the Barbie doll, you find out that there's an IP camera and a necklace in the middle of this doll. So all the guy has to do is remotely turn on the camera, and he's got a view of your child's bedroom, from wherever he's at in the world. And parents don't question it. Flattery, attention, they're going to build that trust in your child. So what do our offenders look like? They're not guys that have a significant history of physical or sexual abuse. Okay? They're not going to be antisocial, usually have a higher level of education, college, master's, PhD level. They're going to have training duties. They're going to be exposed to more deviant forms of pornography because the National Geographic isn't going to get it. And they go to something else, and they go to something worse, and they go to something worse, and they go to something worse. And they're going to cross all those lines of taboo that society holds. They're going to pay. Now, I don't know why you would have to pay to see pornography on the internet, but they spend so much time trying to find something to get them to the next level that they're willing to pay for that. They're going to contact your kids in chat rooms and online. They're going to use webcams. There's a webcam out there right now. It's called YouPorn. Or no, YouNow. YouPorn's an entirely different thing. And what it is, it's like a live show. So we have a 10-year-old in her training bra and her panties dancing on the camera because somebody asked her to, and there's 35,000 viewers in this room. How many of them do you think are parents? Who are these 35,000 viewers looking at this 10-year-old dancing in a bra and panties? They're not there for good reasons. That I can tell you. Social networking. When a child takes a picture and they send that picture out, they lose control over that image, no matter where it goes. They can't say, take it down. I don't know how many times I've gotten calls from parents saying, my son or my daughter did this. It's on the internet, can you take it down? And the answer is no. Once it's out there, it's gone forever. Nobody has control over it anymore. Funny thing is, and it's not funny, it's sad, but you take 10 years from now, a stupid mistake you make in middle school or in high school can come back and haunt you because you sent a picture out and now your potential employer is doing a social media search of you and recovering these images of things that you've done. I know the Miss America pageant, I know that they do those consistently. I know a girl that was disqualified because she was at a party where the red Solo cups were. That's all it took. Just a red Solo cup. Not about what's in it, it's about the image that you're portraying. So when you're talking to your kids, and in your own personal lives, when you create a social media page, you really need to discuss with them what images are you going to post? What information are you going to allow out there about you and about your family? Because I can go and identify you fairly easily. Usually I can find out where you live, where you work, where you retired from, who your kids are, who your brothers and sisters are, because of all the posts and things that we have out there, that we put up. It's very quick. The biggest thing to remember is these guys are master manipulators. They can easily find out where your kids are going. You know, they're going to spend as much time finding out information about kids as single people do pursuing relationships, because that's their interest. The most I've seen on a warrant we did was a guy carrying on conversations with 60 girls simultaneously, because he's looking for the one that would lead me. How you do that, I don't know. But that was his focus. 60 different children he was communicating with to get the one to leave the house and leave. Talk a little bit. When we talk about perpetrators, what I can tell you is there's no age, there's no profession, there's no race, there's no sex, mostly men, but we've had women as well. It's an equal opportunity offense. Okay? We've done politicians, we've done cops, we've done doctors, we've done lawyers, we've done construction workers, we've done farmers, everybody. If you get into this world, and that's the only thing left, it's gonna get you sexually excited, you're gonna start trying to get a hold of your kids. Because pornography's not gonna do it anymore. Talk a little bit about the dangers of pornography. I think some of that. Talked a little bit about how graphic some of this has got. It's not like National Geographic back in the day or Playboy when it first came out. This is graphic, very, very perverse stuff. And a lot of it is homemade now. It's not made by a company like Penthouse or Hustler or something like this. This is homegrown stuff. And people are doing this in their house. That's what they're able to do. And these are what the cell phone cameras are doing. Please tell me there's reason to give an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old a camera with a cell phone on it, or a phone on it. You can go to Walmart and get a flip phone that calls and it sends text. They don't need an iPhone. They don't need to do those things. Consequences of the picture going out, it's gone forever and ever and ever. You can't control it anymore. So, Kate sends out a picture to 6 of her friends. They think it's cool or funny or want to embarrass her, so they send it to 6 more friends. And they do the same. And they do the same. And they do the same. So, for adults like Facebook. Kids know that adults on Facebook, which is why they're moving to different formats. However, when we get on Facebook, we talk about the birth of our child, right? Newborn child in the hospital, mom gave birth last night, everybody's doing great, new picture of a newborn. Who's at home? Who's watching the house? Vacation picture, we're out in the desert. I know that you're on vacation now. Who's watching your house? Funeral in the family. You know, my Uncle John died. Funeral services on Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Uncle John is, you know, my aunt died before him, so who's in their house? That information, we're putting it out there, we really don't think about it. We want to notify family and friends of what's going on with our lives, the death of a loved one, a vacation, the birth of a child, all those things. The bad guys will take that information and they will use it. 78 survey said 78% of burglars use social media to help them choose what targets they're going to get. If I know that you're in Maui having a great vacation and nobody's in your home, what better place to live? If I know that you live out in the country and your nearest neighbor is 1.5 miles away and nobody's watching your house, what a better place to go burglarize? Because we're putting that information out there and we really don't think about it. Go online, people, it's amazing to me how many kids will give up their passwords to their social media accounts. And once they do that, they've given them access to everything inside that account. And kids won't even think about it. We as parents sometimes will give our kids passwords to our accounts so they can go on and do something. But who are our kids giving those passwords to? It's a matter of protecting ourselves.